The National Grange is the oldest general farm and rural public interest organization in the United States. Founded originally in 1867, today the Grange has about 2,800 local, county, and state Grange chapters all across the country. And about 70% of our local chapters are located in communities of 5,000 or less. So we really stick to our roots in rural America.
Well, I don't think we've seen the full force of it yet, but it's raised the price of corn, and every gallon of ethanol we can use is 1 gallon we don't have to buy across the creek, and besides that, it's a renewable resource. So even if it costs you 10 or 15 cents a gallon more than regular gas, every farmer should be doing it, and really for the environment, everyone should be using ethanol corn.
Alternative fuels are having a great impact on rural America. Ethanol is booming, and we are going to be producing more than 7.5 billion gallons of ethanol probably this year. Nearly 1 billion gallons of biodiesel will probably also be produced. This is adding dollars right back into farming communities, because not only are the crops that we're producing, like soybean and corn, being used to produce these fuels, but also a significant portion of the manufacturing of these fuels is occurring in farming and rural communities.
Well, so far it's been a positive response. The prices have gone up, but we've had low prices for as long as I can remember. So any kind of impact that brings prices up is definitely a plus for the farmers.
The National Grange supports increased fuel efficiency, but we want to see fuel efficiency that takes into account other technological needs that rural Americans have, including safety and performance. On the safety side of the issue, many of the roads we have in rural America are, quite frankly, dangerous. More than 3 out of 5 deaths that occur on our roads every year occur on rural 2-lane roads. And this happens in large part because many of the roads we have in rural communities are simply old pioneer roads or even old colonial roads, which we have graded and paved over. And they were designed for horse travel at 6 miles an hour, and we're moving vehicles at 50, 60 miles an hour on them. So obviously there are problems related to the safety. Many of our farmers and small businessmen in rural areas rely on pickup trucks and other capacity vehicles in order to perform their jobs. And what we see is that, again, draconian CAFE standards are simply going to eliminate that work capacity out of a lot of our vehicles.
Well, you know, there's nothing like horsepower. It's better to have and not need than need and not have. We run that same thing with our tractors. I mean, if you don't have to have 350 horse, you can get by with 250, but when it's tough, if you got the power, you can get the job done. Time is the big thing on the farm. You only got a certain amount of days and weeks to get this work done, so if you happen to run into a bump in the road, you might not get your crop out.
The National Grange has joined with a broad coalition of interest groups across the country in endorsing H.R. 2927, legislation which is currently before the House of Representatives that would provide rational and reasonable standards that will increase our fuel efficiency by anywhere from 30 to 40% over the next 12 or 14 years, in addition to providing the technological variations that are necessary in order to protect our safety and provide the performance requirements that we need for our vehicles. We think that's the right balance for the people who live and work in rural communities, to have the vehicles that they need to perform the jobs that they need, that provide the safety that they need, and that also help us increase our energy security.